Hello, welcome to another briefing. In this briefing, I'll be talking about the upcoming rain, wind, big cool down, and even chance of snow that we're looking at for the next week or so, potentially longer than that, depending on how this all plays out for the west coast of the United States and the Intermountain West as well for that snowfall potential in the mountains. So let's start out by looking at the pressure height anomaly at the 18,000 foot level. This is a map that weather enthusiasts and meteorologists like to look at. It's the first thing that meteorologists will tend to look at when they're making a forecast, because it shows you the basic positioning of troughs of low pressure, which you can see the negative anomaly highlighted in blue. That's usually around a center of low pressure when you have see this closed ISO line of 537 decameters right here off of British Columbia. That's a closed low pressure center. That's an upper level low, as we would call it, with a big dip in the jet stream here in those isobar and those thickness contours, signifying a trough with below average heights shown in that those darker blue color, blue and yellowish colors here. And then we have a big ridge here. This is just to show you a little bit of what this map is depicting. A big ridge over the plains here. This is warm air surging north and high pressure with sinking air. These are usually associated with warm spells or heat waves. And then, of course, troughs are usually associated with cold air spilling out of the Arctic. And now we have more activity. We have more of that. As we transition into fall and winter, we have more of that cold air spilling out. We have more low pressure troughs, like starting to dig deeper, bringing that cold air. We also have a really intense trough of low pressure now over much of the east coast, and that is bringing even the parts of the polar jet are extending way down into New England with very cold air, all the way down into parts of the southeast with freezing temperatures for a lot of these areas, all the way down into parts of the south here. Very, very cold air, very early blast of cold air happening on the east coast right now. So I wanted to get into the chances of rain now and the main systems that will be impacting the west. So watch this trough as we go and put this into motion, this computer model projection, going into the early morning hours of Wednesday. See, there on the edge of this trough here, as it's making its way in, this is where a cold front would be. This is where we would have our next chance of rain. Unfortunately, does not look like it's going to make it very far south past Northern California, maybe trace amounts for the Bay Area, but there might be another one behind. See, the other one behind that is further north. That's a good shot of rain further north, and maybe even snow for the Sierras. Unfortunately, not a lot of moisture in that for the Bay Area. And then as we build a ridge behind that, might have some offshore winds developing. I'll show that next. And let me just show you a different view of what we were just looking at. This is the leading edge of that low pressure I was talking about, that cold front that's going to dip down on Wednesday. This is the projection for rainfall accumulation as we go through Wednesday here, Wednesday afternoon now into Thursday morning. We see, unfortunately, not a lot makes it down to the Bay Area. If we take a look at the comparison here, this is the ensemble mean for the European model. This is taking 50 different ensemble members with the atmospheric conditions as we best understand them, tweaked 50 different ways. Take the average of that. This is what it's projecting. Maybe trace amounts for the Bay Area. Unfortunately, not much. Most of the accumulation does look like it will be happening over far northern California and parts of the Sierra, down to the northern and central Sierra Nevadas, maybe a little bit for the southern Sierras. Could actually also be looking at some snow chances there. National blend of models shows about the same kind of thing. Unfortunately, not looking very promising for this first system. If we go in to look at let's just look at snowfall potential real quickly, and then I'll go back to temperatures. But looking at the first system, really not much to speak of. As we go into, by Saturday at 5 p.m., you've got maybe a few inches at the very highest peaks of the Sierra, maybe a dusting for areas such as South Lake Tahoe and Truckee, but not expecting much from at least this first round here. So now going back to temperatures, just wanted to highlight, let's look at the daily minimum temperatures at the surface. And you have, as we go in here, Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty much the same story. Coldest valleys, maybe down to the low 50s, but most areas here in the Bay Area, mid-50s, Central Valley, mid-50s. Most of Southern California, mid-50s to right around 60 for some areas near the coast. Deserts in the 60s, maybe some areas close to 70 in the Palm Springs area. As we go into Thursday, knock about 5 to 10 degrees off of those Wednesday lows. And then as we go into Friday, you're looking at widespread 40s for many areas in the Central Valleys, maybe even some upper 30s for areas north of Healdsburg here. The coldest inland valleys in some of the Bay areas, I would not be surprised if we do see some readings close to 40 maybe. I don't know if it will get down into the 30s, but it definitely could get close to that is my feeling as of now. And we're looking at widespread 40s as we go down the Central Valley, even into the LA area. Some areas down around 50 degrees, areas near the water, maybe upper 50s, Palm Springs down to 59. And up in the Sierras, you're looking at teens. You're looking at 16 for Truckee for a low on Friday, 17 for South Lake Tahoe. Pretty raw conditions, so do beware if you're out and about in the mountains. I wanted, as we look at the high temperatures. Gonna be pretty mild coming up. Tuesday still pretty warm, maybe 84 Sacramento, most of the Central Valley, and then down in the 70s for Wednesday, and then 73 for much, just 70s much of the Central Valley, 80s for the deserts, even 60s as we go further up north, 50s in the mountains on Friday. We have only 40s in the mountains. We have widespread 70s elsewhere. Even the deserts, Palm Springs, 79 might not hit 80 degrees. For Palm Springs to be below 80 degrees, you know we are having a seasonal change from a summer-like pattern to a fall and then eventually winter-like pattern. So that's what I wanted to show as far as temperature goes. Now I'll just show you briefly. Let me show you the 5,000 foot temperatures. As you can see, these darker colors here represent the colder air, and these readings are in Celsius. And as we go, put this in motion, watch that cold front. This is 1 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon here. You're looking at that cold front coming through, cold air starting to spill in behind it. Look at that blast of cold air. Look at, as we go into Thursday, we get some readings, projected readings at this point down to 7 Celsius. Would be about 44 degrees Fahrenheit at the 5,000 foot level over the Bay Area. If we put this temperature anomaly at 5,000 feet parameter, you can see that blast of frigid air moving down as it unlocks from the colder polar regions. I'll just give you a more of a zoomed out view of that. And you can see this trough that I was just showing on the other map, or the initial map here. See this same trough here. Sorry, this is, okay, my bad. This trough, this is the first trough. So this trough, remember I talked about how it brings cold polar air further south, exactly what it's doing when you look at this temperature map here at 10,000 feet. This is exactly what's happening. That cold air is just pouring down with this trough. As you see here, it makes its way in. That cold air starts to really blast in as we go into Thursday, into Friday here. And then we might get a little bit of a warm-up. We might get some pretty strong winds. Let me just show you the wind projection to focus in on the Bay Area. I'll focus in on California and the Bay Area for this. I have to go back here. Here we go. Alright, so looking at the winds, let's start out Tuesday. Tuesday's going to be very similar to what today, Monday, was like. Northwest flow along the coast, not much wind further inland. And then as we go into Wednesday here, you start to see that northwest flow really tightening, that pressure gradient tightening as that trough moves down. Winds really picking up along the coast, that northwest flow particularly. Even areas of the Sierra Nevada areas in the state of Nevada might get some pretty intense winds as we go through Wednesday afternoon. And then as we go through Thursday, look at those northwest winds really howling along the coastline here. This is really strong. This is northwest flow here. If I zoom in, I'm gonna show you the Bay Area now. I want to get a little more zoom here. So let's go back to that Thursday afternoon time frame. Look at this. Look at Half Moon Bay, sustained winds projected 26 miles per hour for the European. And look at the gusts. Looking at potentially up to 45 mile per hour gusts in Half Moon Bay, 40 mile per hour gusts for SFO. Looking widespread 30 mile per hour gusts here through the Bay Area. If this verifies, this would be pretty intense. This could cause at least some sporadic power outages, is something to be aware of. So that's what I have to show for, mostly what I have to show for winds. I just want to show you actually as we go in through Saturday morning. See, there's a bit of an offshore wind that does develop going down the Central Valley here. It does not look very strong as of now. This doesn't look very significant. I'm going to put the gusts on here. I mean, you might get some gusts in the 20s in the higher terrain in the North Bay and the East Bay. So that could bring some fire danger. That is something to be aware of. In the hills, there will likely be fire danger. If we look at the relative humidity here, it does get pretty dry, as you can see, even all the way to the coast. We might have another offshore wind event. And this does spell fire danger. This is really low relative humidity, and if this makes it all the way to the coast, yeah, there could be quite a bit of fire danger with that. In terms of temperatures, I don't believe it's going to be very warm. It's not going to be anything like the last warm spell we had. We're looking at least at this point, projections for the European calling for 80s in the very warmest spots, 70s elsewhere. This is very mild compared to what we had in early October with over 100 degrees in many locations and 90s all the way to the coast. This will be nothing like that, thankfully. Anyways, that's all I have for this briefing. I hope you were able to get something out of this. Sorry, I was moving the camera around quite a bit today. I apologize for that. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.